Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis. Tonight on Whiskey Business, there may be controversy over this year's upcoming Oscar broadcast, but never a controversy when we have our annual Oscar podcast. Hope Madden, George Wolf, tonight, talking Oscars on Whiskey Business. I'm Dino Tripodis, and welcome to Whiskey Business. As you should know by now, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey, the only running theme, a different bottle of whiskey every week, but the topics from A to Z. And this day, this night, we land on O for Oscar. It's our annual Oscar podcast, and our guests, once again, it's become a tradition, Hope Madden, George Wolf from madwolf.com, the screening room, are here. They are probably, you can go back on archives, I hate repeating myself, but they are probably the two people that watch the most movies of anybody in the world. Seriously. And are in the know when it comes. Your record is impressive as far as Oscar picks.
Thank you.
Really, I would say that over the years, you probably are in the 95 percentile.
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
I think every year we get one big one wrong. And then so it gets gotten to the point now that when we're watching the broadcast, if we haven't, we're like, oh God, we missed Best Picture. You know, it's like if we haven't gotten one wrong yet, it's like statistically speaking, there's one coming.
A few years ago, for 5 minutes, we got them all right until La La Land changed to Moonlight for Best Picture.
Yep.
But usually we get one wrong.
Yeah.
But
So that is going to be the main theme of tonight's conversation. We're going to talk Oscars. We'll talk a little bit about the controversy that's going on in Hollywood with cutting out certain categories for the actual broadcast. We'll get to all that. We'll get to the best pictures, the best actor, the best actress, director, and if we have time, since we're all writers in this room, we're probably gonna take a nod for original screenplay at the very least, and maybe just throw out who you think is going to win best adapted screenplay. Because, hey, story.
yes,
That's what movies are all about, right? Mm-hmm. Story. But before we do that, I'm gonna let Hansberry, who's going to be off mic and off camera.
I have a microphone. Do it. He's gonna let me do it, but
you're not gonna God mic it
correctly or not.
You're not gonna God mic it. Okay, you're gonna do the Whitney thumbs up. John Whitney's going to do the business. Go ahead. This should be good.
Okay, you can listen to Whiskey Business at all the podcast places you get podcasts, whatever the hell it's called.
Platforms.
Yes, good. All the platforms. You can see it on YouTube with Dino Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis on YouTube.
Right. Those
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Which you put together.
I put it together, and I
you do.
usually don't cut anything out unless somebody tells me to.
Or unless you think you've embarrassed yourself.
Yeah, I said something last week.
He cut it out.
I cut it out. That's fine.
All right.
And we want to thank the Evergreen Podcast Network.
There you go.
And that's about it. Yeah.
Whiskey
Did I
Business,
miss something?
WhiskeyBusinessPod.com. Our
that's
website.
right. The website.
WhiskeyBusinessPod.com.
I need to update that. Actually, I need to update.
Okay. Cool. I think that's
the first time I've ever done business.
Yeah, we are the worst.
Well done.
We are.
Well done. Ha, ha.
But there's really nowhere to go.
I'm usually half in the bag already before
us,
this part happens.
We are probably the worst self-promoters of any podcast out there. But I'm good at promoting what my guests are all about.
We like that.
And like I said, we're going to get to the guest bottle here in just a second. But first, I want to say congratulations to Hope Madden, who I know as an excellent journalist. You know, you write great articles.
Thank you. You're often in them.
Which is why I know you're a great journalist, because you have to turn shit into something, shiny. But congratulations, Roost. Is this your first novel?
It is my first novel.
This is her first novel, Roost, and this is out as we speak. Yes?
You can.
By the time this podcast drops, it will be.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Now, I want you to know. Well, give me like a log line synopsis of the book, because we're going to talk about Roost in an entirely separate podcast with just Hope about how this book came about and what it's all about and what some of the inspiration was, because I think this might be a classic example of write what you know.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
right?
absolutely is
Okay.
that. Yep.
But tell us the basic synopsis of the book.
It's a coming-of-age horror story set in rural Ohio. It follows twin girls who are born on Easter Sunday in 1970, and we check back in with them about every 6 years because when their birthday falls on Easter, terrible things happen in their hometown.
Okay.
Ooh, creepy.
Sounds interesting.
And that's tease enough. We'll be talking with Hope in a podcast down the way here, probably sometime in April.
Okay.
Is what I'm thinking, to find out more about Roost. Also, I want to find out what's going on with Obstacle Corpse, which is going to be a feature film now. It started off as a short.
Yep. Started off with a short and a trailer, and we did some crowdfunding, and we're set to begin shooting first 2 weeks of May, I believe.
That's
is the schedule,
right.
right?
Yep.
Finishing up casting right now.
Nice.
A lot of pre-production, a lot of odds and ends that we're still knee deep into.
Yeah.
Independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
Right.
You're gonna.
We feel your pain.
You
Yeah.
start knee deep. You
Sure,
stay
you know.
knee deep.
Yeah.
You finish knee deep.
That's right.
Pretty much.
So how many times when you've done it have you said to just looked at each other and said, "Never, I'm never doing this again"? Because
every time we end one.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then we end one. That's it. We're done.
We've said it many times.
Yeah.
We haven't even
Though,
started.
though we did say after the last one, we're never going to do it this way again. You know, so that one I think we're sticking to.
Yeah, that was too much work.
But he and I have been getting itchy again as far as
Sure.
wanting to do
figure it out.
something. So we'll figure it out.
Crime drama space movie.
Crime drama space heist
Heist movie.
movie.
I'm in. It's gold.
slash comedy.
Go, Jerry.
But the title Obstacle Corpse, it kind of writes itself. I would imagine as far
George's
as
title. George came up with the title.
Yes.
great title.
I
She
wrote,
wrote the
the
script.
other words.
It's a
So
great
I did the
title.
easy part.
It is a great title.
It's a great script.
Thank you.
Oh, they work so well together.
right?
Why can't you and I work that well
We
together?
don't support each other like that. We don't do it.
And the guest bottle. All right, I was at the store today. And I was like, "What am I gonna get? What am I gonna get? I got everything." And then I thought, I was looking. Even though there are no movie whiskeys are used in movies, but there's no. I was looking for something cinematic, and then I realized I still had a little bit of Blade and Bow. Blade and Bow sounds like a sword movie, right?
It
Like
does.
Yeah.
It absolutely
Pirate
does.
Sword and
movie.
sandals.
Yeah.
Sword and sandals movie, Blade and Bow.
It does.
I picked this, what we got from the shelf. I know you guys don't normally drink whiskey, and I know Johnny does, so I'm gonna pour you. I'm gonna just pour a little bit. And okay, and
Trying to cut back.
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you really?
I'll have some. Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut
Okay.
back.
All right. This is just Blade and Bow is an interesting little whiskey that kind of comes from the. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget you, Hansberry? Kind of comes from the Stitzer Weller distillery that used to make Pappy Van Winkle.
Oh.
They shut it down in 1992. Then a company called Diageo bought it and kind of. They're still not distilling whiskey there, but they store whiskey there. And if you look on the label here, they just they prostitute the fact that it comes from that distillery in a
that in
big
Frankfurt?
way.
Is that in
Stitzel
Frankfurt?
Weller Distillery, established back in 1935. This is Louisville. This is Louisville. This was in Louisville, Kentucky. And what they've done is that there were still some barrels of Stitzer Weller sitting in the warehouse there. And what they did is they started to take, they didn't have enough for a big release of those barrels. So what they did is they started blending what was left in there with some younger whiskeys. They won't name the younger whiskeys. They won't say what the younger whiskeys were, but they will say that they're at least 4 to 6 years old to come up with Blade and Bow. So it's kind of I don't want to say a novelty whiskey, and it's a beautiful bottle, and it's got a key,
Nice key.
the 5 key symbol, which is the 5 steps of making good bourbon: grains, yeast, fermentation, distillation, and aging. And that would be 6.
Yeah. Got to get the drinking
So,
in there.
so my cinematic name, Blade and Bow, for our podcast tonight, and overall a pretty good whiskey. Runs between $45 and $50. If I remember correctly, Maybe some vanilla in there. It's got a nice long peppery finish. A little creamy.
Yeah,
That
it's
might be
smooth.
the cocoa. You
I
can
like
pick up a little cocoa in there. That might be that might take care of the creamy part of it. So, yeah. Blade and Bow, if you can find it, because this came out a while ago, and who knows how many bottles of it
I
are
see
left.
it occasionally. I occasionally see it out
see
there.
it out
yeah.
there?
Yeah.
So, all right. So we took care of a lot of things. Guest bottle, our business, your upcoming business. Let's get down to business. The movies.
There you go.
The Oscars. Are they going to be Oscar wiener? I mean, this year seems kind of almost. First of all, 10 movies. They filled up all 10 spots.
Right.
Did they have to?
I've been saying for a while, just do 10. They would stop at 8 or 9,
Right.
and all this the convoluted way of voting with the percentages. I've been saying for a while, just do 10. If you're going to go over 5, just do 10.
Okay.
So I'm in favor of that myself.
And the reason that they have been, you could get up to 10 for a number of years, but the films had to hit a threshold of votes before they went. So, which is why we haven't ever gotten 10. We get 8 or 9, and we never do 10. And so they decided this year, maybe because so many people complained, but I have the feeling it's because they were hoping that they would get Spider-Man on there. I think that's why they did it, was so that then they didn't, of course. So they have several even smaller films that nobody ever heard of that fill out their 10. It seemed to me an unusual year to choose to go for all 10 because it was a short year. Because last year they lengthened the window.
Right.
Which means this year we only had 9 months instead of 12 months of movies.
Right.
And we still didn't have that many movies released to theaters, which means we still didn't get very many big movies come out. So it seemed like a strange year for me because we had 3 blockbusters in all of the 9 months, none of which made it onto the screen. I mean, none of which made it onto the list.
And occasionally a blockbuster gets on there on
Yeah,
the list.
pre-COVID, there was almost always at least one would make the list. I mean, the Pixar movies, which usually raked in hundreds of millions of dollars, they were generally always on that list. There were some other superhero movies that would make the top 10. They wouldn't win, but they'd make the list.
Yeah, it does seem like a funny year, although I do like it going to the 10. I still wish they would just stop trying to chase ratings for the show.
Yes, I agree.
I understand the producers, but
They don't seem to know how to fix it. I
No.
mean, based
So-
on this year's controversy alone, by let's shorten it up by not eliminating, but as far as from the broadcast, eliminating
Yeah.
certain categories from the broadcast. I mean, what the hell? It's the Oscars. Anybody that's an Oscar fan knows going in it's going to be a long broadcast.
Right.
You know this.
Right.
But it's
You
the
know
ones
this.
that aren't in. Editing is not in. None of the sound categories are
yeah,
in.
see, that cuts me.
That's half the movie, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
the one that made me sad are the shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, as George and I have talked about this before, that when we were kids and would watch it, it's like that's the only thing felt like magical to me. Like, oh my God, where do you see these?
right.
It was like,
I always wondered
what?
where people saw short
Yeah.
films. And we love getting the shorts program every
Yeah,
year.
and now you can. They put them out in theaters. You can go watch all of the shorts that have been nominated for Oscars. And I'm really sorry that those aren't gonna be broadcast.
So if I understand correctly, they will get acknowledged on the broadcast, but we're not going to get all the pomp and circumstance that goes
Right,
along.
they're not
They're
gonna
try to
name
have
off the
envelope
cate- yeah,
and
exactly.
They're going to
categories.
try to work them in a way that they say will be seamless. We'll see about that. I don't know, but yeah, for the
Cut to their chair with a trophy. That'll be about
yeah
it.
for movie fans like us, you're right. We know we're in for the long haul.
You do.
We look forward to the long haul. We want to see all those.
So make the long haul that much more entertaining. I mean, but
also-
don't increase it with boring shit.
There was a great, and I wish I could remember the name. There was a great blog I read last week or the week before about a guy who had it sounded like a great idea, was to make it like the Super Bowl and cut it into 2 halves. One for the cinephiles like us, and one for the casual fans who just want to see the big awards. And he went on and on, had this 12-point plan. It sounded pretty good. With a big, and they do a big halftime show.
right,
Do the whole
big
thing.
halftime show.
And I wish I could remember the guy's name, but I read most of it, and it sounded like, all right, I'd be for that. Try it. I mean,
Yeah.
they seem to be trying everything else to try to chase these ratings. So I would just like you. I would rather see all those.
Nah, I think they're going to take another dump this year.
Well, I mean, the same as last year. I just feel like, the industry has to accept that people aren't going to be that interested in this show because nobody saw these movies, because nobody's gone back to movies yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody saw any of these movies because, all of them. Spielberg's, the big ones, they were all bombs. None of them made $1. Mm-hmm. Nobody went. But that's not the film's fault, and it's not the industry's fault. It's because people aren't comfortable going to the theater yet. So just suck it up for a couple of years.
And the same thing for the ratings for the TV show. TV habits have changed.
Yeah.
There's so many. You go back to the days when Carson was hosting the thing in the glory days. It's a whole different TV landscape out there.
Yeah.
So I think they may be chasing something that is not going to be there regardless.
I mean,
just give it a couple
Oscar
of years.
shows would draw, at that time, like you said, the Carson era would draw Super Bowl ratings. They would get 50 million people, and now we get 100 million. But I'm saying back then when it was just TV.
Yeah, and plus the whole Hollywood elite has been demonized in this everything is political society.
Right.
That you've got one half of the population that is sort of programmed to hate Hollywood. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, and I just get tired of them chasing the ratings. But I understand why they have to.
Yeah, at times they become their own worst enemy, right? They really do. All right, so what do you guys want to start with? You want to start with the actors? You want to go to Best Picture and go juicy from the top and work our way down? That would be a little bit different.
Well, okay, yeah, whatever you want to do.
Be a little different.
We're up for it.
Let's start at the top,
All
and then
right.
we'll dissect the.
Let's get nutty.
Yeah,
Crazy.
let's go crazy.
This Blade and Bow is making us think.
That's right.
Let's start with Best Picture. And right now, someone's going, "Oh man, I'm so glad they started with Best Picture."
I can turn it off every half hour.
No, but if you're a true cinephile, you want to know who these two lovely people think are going to take away the award for Best Actor, Actress, Supporting Screenplay. We can't get into all of the minutia because of time. All right. Yeah. We got 10 films. We got Nightmare Alley. We got not in particular order. Don't Look Up, Dune, Drive My Car, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, West Side Story, King Richard, and Coda. Did I get them all? I believe I did.
Licorice Pizza? Did you mention?
Yeah, I did mention
Okay.
Licorice Pizza.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely an interesting mix of films as far as genres and themes.
Yeah, I think for us, there's one glaring omission there, and
Okay,
that is the
you read my
tragedy.
mind.
The tragedy of Macbeth.
Yeah.
We cannot believe the tragedy of Macbeth did not make it.
That makes me wonder who your choice for actor will be as we.
I mean, that was
go
such
down
a
the line.
beautiful film. It just floored me how good it was.
Yeah,
How
it
they
was-
re-envisioned it.
It was glorious.
It was glorious. So
glorious.
that was a shocker to me
Yeah.
that it didn't make it.
Yeah.
What made it such a glorious film for you? I mean,
the way-
First, do you love do you love Shakespeare to begin with, or does it matter?
So
doesn't
Macbeth
matter.
has always been my favorite. Shakespeare, I think, since I was a kid, because there's witches in it. Like from the time I was a little kid, I'm like, oh, I like this one. Look at all the people they kill, and there's witches in it.
The way there you go.
There you go.
I mean, look at that creepy cover. Come on. But the way
Not saying a word.
Joel Cohen
Yeah.
was able to blend the cinematic and the stage.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for that. It's so beautiful, first of all.
It's
One of the-
unbelievably gorgeous
One
to
of the
look at.
themes of this year, I think, was black and white
Yeah.
films. There were a lot of them. They all looked fantastic. Another big theme this year was cinematography that just popped your eyes
Oh,
out.
yeah.
This was one of those
Yeah.
as well. And the way he made it seem stagey but cinematic at the same time, and moving the age of the actors a little older brought a new dimension into the storytelling. The performances are glorious. It's
As you would only expect from Frances McDormand and,
Yeah.
and Denzel Washington.
I mean, I
But the
spent a
whole
lot of
cast,
time
the
with-
entire cast was
I
amazing.
spent a lot of time with Macbeth in both high school and college, and the way he breathed new life into this just floored me.
Yeah.
I was expecting to like it, not as much as I did like it. I loved it.
And the witches.
The witches
The presentation
were
of the, but
fantastic.
truly, the way this film presents the witches is better than I've ever seen it done.
It's great. Yeah. So that was a big omission in the Best Picture category.
So
But
what do you think is on the list now that shouldn't be there and maybe do the switcheroo there? If you do that-
Coda, I think, as much as
Which is funny because
You think Coda should not be on the list?
No. I liked Coda a lot. We both did.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic example of formulaic filmmaking, how you can do it and do it well. It's a crowd pleaser. It's populist. I get it. It's such a good.
It has a
feeling.
good shot at winning.
Yeah, I know. George and
But
I
we
were
wouldn't put it on the list.
talking
would
about
not.
this.
I'd have dropped Dune. That's the one I'd have dropped.
I'd have dropped Dune.
I would have dropped
Don't Look
Dune.
Up. I would have dropped.
I would have dropped Don't
I
Look
would
Up.
have dropped
but
Don't Look Up.
We like Don't Look Up, but again, you're talking about the best 10 movies? No. I did like it, though.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought it was very funny and smart.
I've never, and maybe it's me. I've never been a fan of. I know I'm talking sacrilege here. I was never a fan of Frank Herbert's book of the
No, me either.
Dune.
Neither of us.
agreed.
No.
I didn't. Wasn't crazy about the
we
first
thought,
one.
Technically, Dune is a wonderful movie. All the technical
Yeah,
aspects of
and
it
oh
are
my God,
wonderful.
the cast.
storytelling, and you said at the beginning, story.
Story.
For me, the story does nothing for me.
I also felt like it was
Okay.
It was very ponderous, and it was one of those movies
Yeah.
that felt like half a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot in my heart for the David Lynch version, so I had trouble watching this one. Because I love that one for some reason. I know people hate it, but I love it.
I like Don't Look Up. I was very entertained by Don't
was
Look Up,
too.
but I was surprised to see it land into the
Agreed.
best picture. I mean, that was the thoroughly entertaining,
Yep.
tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
You know, we're
Yep.
laughing.
I laughed
we're
a lot.
making
Yeah.
fun of ourselves and,
Yep.
and where we're at in society.
And we're all
But
gonna
one of
die.
the best
Yeah.
10 of the year now.
No.
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 All right, so we're just in casual conversation. We're knocking off Coda. George and I were talking about it. I kept like, you're right. I know it won the SAG Award for Best Ensemble, and yes, they did a terrific job of working together. And the story is a sweet story, but I'm like, come on, let's go, let's move it. And then when you talk about how'd you say it earlier, as far as
It's a
Formulaic
great formulaic. It's such a
Sons
formula.
of bitches in the last half hour.
got you, didn't they?
They get you.
They
You know,
do.
when he puts the
Oh,
hands
yeah.
on the vocal
Yeah, dude,
cords.
I'm
I'm like, God damn it!
They do it.
you know that's getting me. And then
Yeah.
at the audition at Berkeley,
Which you know is coming.
I know it's
do.
coming.
Yeah,
You do.
I knew it. I said
Yeah.
that she's gonna start signing. Of
course.
and it's beautiful.
It's
I'm not,
beautiful.
I'm
It
not.
is.
I'm not criticizing that, but I was like, sons of bitches.
Yep.
I had
So
all the feels going. Going.
It does. It has all
Yeah,
the
it
feels
is.
of the movie.
Yep, it absolutely
I
does.
totally get it how people love this movie, and Hope's right. It has a darn good chance of winning.
Oh yeah, I think there are 3 real possible winners in this list, and it's one of those 3.
Yeah, I
Coda. Who's the other? The other.
Power of the Dog. I think
of the-
that's your third. I think Coda, Power of the Dog, and West Side
West Side
Story.
Story.
Those are the 3 circling. And I think we both feel like West Side Story will probably win.
For
but
Best Picture?
I do.
Really?
I
Really
think
do.
because it's got all the momentum right now.
It just hit streaming, which helps. I mean, I know the people that are voting have already voted, but
Disney Plus.
yeah. But also the way that we've always talked about on this podcast is the way they vote. And Hope always makes a very good point about the safest choice often wins.
Yep.
About the way they vote.
Because of the way the votes are tallied, which is why I think Coda is the second likeliest. I think your likeliest, the 2 that are the most likely to win, I think, are West Side Story and Coda.
Okay.
I think Licorice Pizza is the one that could bring it at the end.
Really?
That would be so great.
She would love that.
That was my favorite movie this year.
That was
I
my
watched it
favorite.
again
Yes.
today,
Oh my
twice.
God.
I've seen it
Did you
twice.
really?
Again today.
Yeah.
Love
All right,
it.
let's talk about Licorice Pizza for a second, and the director and the writer as well,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I love all his work.
Yes,
Yes.
agreed.
Yes.
And I'm sitting watching this movie, and I'm like, is this the case with a lot of Paul's movies? I sit there and I go, okay, what am I watching?
Right.
And what am I watching? Where's this going? And then there's so much, I think I used the word subtlety with you
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Okay.
That is just, that is so well done that gets you caught up in these characters and where it's going. And sometimes some of the characters, these outlandish characters come in, but they work. They,
Yeah.
they
Oh, yeah.
fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he makes it. A lot of running in this movie.
A lot of running.
A lot of
Two
running.
people
A
said.
lot of running. A lot of running in Licorice Pizza.
But they're always
They
running.
had to be exhausted.
They're always running to somewhere they think is better than where they are.
Right. Oh,
And-
Georgie.
Yeah.
That scene
He's
outside
so
the
smart.
police station was actually a long dialogue scene, and he decided let's just do this running bit and see how it works out.
And it also does a fantastic job of transporting you to a different time and place.
Oh, it really does.
I mean, the time stamp and the location stamp are insane. You just feel it envelops you.
So, all right. So we sit here and we love film, and we love all of Anderson's movies, and we're sitting here now. There's a lot of people that, the fuck am I watching?
Oh yeah.
Right? And just like, no, that was horrible. That was awful. I know there's people like that.
People.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Was it your wife? Your wife hated
Really?
it? Mallory hated it. Hansberry's wife hated it. You liked it, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really loved about it is that it's not just that it nails a time period, right, where it feels like it's the 1970s. It feels like a movie made in the 1970s.
Right.
They
Yeah.
do things in this movie that you don't do anymore,
Yes.
you know. And I like, The Bad News Bears is one of just the greatest movies ever come out of the 70s. And they tried to remake it. You can't. You cannot make that movie
I just
anymore.
watched that a
and
couple
that's,
weeks ago.
And that's
Loved it.
one of the things I really appreciated about this movie is you find yourself sort of going, am I rooting for them to get together? I know I'm not. I'm clearly not rooting for this grown woman and this 15-year-old boy to
Right.
get together, and
know.
yet somehow, am I?
It's- it's a different time. It's a different time.
You know, it's just it's fascinating the way it's almost like he doesn't self-censor, right? And I think that's got to be hard for somebody writing and directing today to do, to not take a very modern approach to telling a story that took place in 1974, and I think that was
I
fascinating.
kept waiting for her to say she was lying about her age, that she really wasn't
Right,
25. That she was like, really 19,
Yeah.
18, something along. But no.
And then he gets these two fantastic performances out of two relative newcomers
Yeah,
and
right.
surrounds them with these great actors
Oh, yeah.
in, like you said, very indelible small
Yeah,
characters
yeah.
like Sean Penn,
Yeah, right. Oh,
my
nuts,
Tom
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley
I know.
Oh my
Cooper.
God, how great was
that
Bradley
was great.
Cooper
He
in
was
this movie?
amazing.
He was hilarious.
it's
Yeah, he's amazing.
I love Tail. I love Tail.
You know who my girlfriend is?
Yeah. That's right. Barbra Streisand?
No, that's not it.
Barbra Streisand.
Yeah. No, agreed. It was great. I know you'd be very happy with
Yes,
that one.
I would be
Not
so
really
happy.
Does it have a
expecting
chance?
that to
Doesn't
happen.
have a
No,
chance.
I don't think it
not.
does. It
No,
doesn't feel like it
No,
does.
it doesn't have a chance. But
It doesn't feel like it does.
So West Side Story, because I watched that recently, and Johnny, you started to.
Okay, I have a problem with. I've talked about this before. I have a problem with remakes, and that's it. I have a problem with. Why do you remake a Robert Weiss film that won Best Picture?
Can I say why?
You can. I know why, but why? But go ahead. Go ahead.
So I dislike musicals, and George, very big fan of musicals. And so I remember when the original, they had a 70 millimeter print at Gateway Film Center, and George convinced me to go, and we went. And I'd seen it. I saw it as a little kid. My mom liked it, had the soundtrack, and I'm not a fan of it. I didn't really remember it particularly well, and I had to say, watching it again, there's so many things about that movie that I thought were really good, and I hated it. Like, I just kept thinking, why is she? Who is she being? Is that Ricardo Montalban? What is that accent? Right? What are you doing right now? And then the guy, it's a big piece of toast. Nobody wants to go out with that guy. I thought it was moronic. And to be fair, right? It's Romeo and Juliet, which I've always hated. The
Now,
whole
are you
theme.
talking about the original? The original.
The
Okay,
original, yeah. The whole
okay,
theme of
yeah.
Romeo and Juliet is kids are stupid. So, it's just, none of it translates very well for me. I wasn't looking forward to the new one. I loved it. It looks glorious. They updated,
does.
and he could speak to it so much better than I could, but they updated certain things so that I just thought,
Yeah,
wow, this is awesome, as opposed to like being cringing at the screen.
I think
the
it's
last
better.
time. I do too.
I think it's better than the original.
I couldn't get through
Okay, now see, now
I know.
maybe I'm the purist there, because I see Steven Spielberg flexing his amazing movie making muscles in this movie in a big way. And you're right. There's some beautiful performances, and the choreography is great.
yeah, the staging.
And
Incredible.
And the fact that who else but Steven Spielberg could shut down New York City for the most part and get something like that done. I thought the performances were good too, but not as far as nominations. How many nominations did we get out of that for performances?
Boy.
Just the girl,
one.
right?
Yeah,
Just the
which
girl.
was
Just
a
from,
big. We thought Columbus native Mike Feist should have.
Yeah, that
He was a good riff.
really robbed.
He was so
great.
good.
He was good.
He was so good. I
thought he was the heart of that movie. I really did.
I was
thought
really
he was great.
hoping he would get a nomination, so that sort of surprised me. But
An Otterbein kid.
I don't know.
I'm not
He's
sure. I
from
know
Columbus.
he's from here.
I don't know.
But I think some of the almost well, really all the changes he made were for the better. I think across the board, top to bottom, the performances are better.
Can we say what some of those changes were without spoiling it for people?
Sure.
Yeah.
Some of the big numbers, well, a lot of the numbers, he makes subtle changes into the location of where they
Right.
do. Case in point, I Feel Pretty is in the store. I think it works much better that way. Officer Krupke is moved. I think they all work better. And then, he makes very important changes to the end. Number one, the assault scene,
Right.
calling
Oh
it
my
like
God.
it is.
Yeah.
And also he makes a big change into the final performance of Somewhere.
Yeah.
Changes it from only being about the two of them to a more universal
Yeah.
struggle of a people. I thought those all hit home. It looked fantastic. I thought even from the very beginning, the stakes, the actual threat of gang violence to me felt more palpable.
Yeah.
It felt more real in the first one.
So why'd that movie bomb at the box office?
Everything bombed at the box office.
It
I
was-
just don't think it's fair to
Especially
hold
when it's
films
aimed at-
accountable
Unless
to
it
that
was
right
a
now.
superhero movie.
When it's aimed at an older audience, like
they're
West
not
Side
comfortable
Story.
going to the movies. Kids are. Kids are comfortable going to
kids-
the
but
movies
kids don't wanna
because
go
they
see
feel
West
like
Side
they're
Story.
No,
immortal.
they don't. No.
So no adult movie made any money.
Nightmare Alley, Johnny, I told you, and you said you didn't realize that till afterward, was also a remake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was a remake after I saw the movie.
Yeah.
And I wasn't too. I thought it was beautiful, gorgeous
It
film.
was.
Yeah.
And
It
they win
really
best
was.
cinematography. I think. I know Macbeth probably is on the block.
Oh,
for that, too.
cinematography was fantastic.
But
Yeah,
it was
it
just
was.
gorgeous.
It's
But
so
I
gorgeous.
was like,
Yeah, I loved it. It's I like the original very much. I'm
I did
a big
too.
fan of the original. They're both just based on a book, so I'm not sure one is really a remake of the other film. They're just both based on a book, which I've not read. I loved. Well, I loved Del Toro anyway.
Yeah, he's
and
good.
I loved what he did with it. I loved one of the things I thought was so great is that they let you know what the geek really is, which they don't in the other.
that was interesting.
And
to
the
me.
thing about it is,
I like that part.
so that means everybody that they're treating as like these wholesome, great carny folk that you love, right?
Right.
They're horrible,
They're horrible.
that they
Yeah.
live in this way and they allow this to happen. So there's a darkness in every character in this movie. And yeah, as you said, the cinematography, glorious. It's
my
so
God.
great. And we have to wait like 45 minutes until we get Kate Blanchett. And then when she's there, you're like,
Oh.
oh my God, I love her. You
Yeah.
know, it's like,
It was-
oh,
She
It's-
walks in
Kate.
that scene in her office where she walks into. There's a technical term for a eye light. It's called we call them obies. And she stepped right into that obie light, and
The way she was shot,
and
yeah.
brought her
So
eyes
great.
in. I was like, "Holy shit, this is like a."
But
movie
again,
from the 40s.
I thought Del Toro did a great job of raising the stakes of the movie. I thought the arc of the entire thing felt more Shakespearean, even more biblical, of the Pride Before the Falls type of story arc. I thought it was a great adaptation.
And actually, the last shot, the last line is like my favorite of the entire year. The entire cinematic year was the last shot, the last line of that movie.
refresh my memory on that one.
It was
Mr. I Was Born For It.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then he laughs. His head back
A
and laughs.
mirthless chuckle.
A mirthless chuckle.
Mirthless chuckle. Will Smith wins the Best Actor Award for
Yeah.
SAG,
Yeah.
and King Richard, the movie is nominated for Best Picture. Once again, I thought it was a good
Agreed.
movie, but
Crowd pleaser.
crowd pleaser, movie.
Solid film. Does it
Good
deserve-
performances,
Good performances.
good story, true story.
Yeah, well done. Did it deserve to be nominated in the final 10? I don't
No.
think so.
No.
But Will Smith getting the SAG, so that ups his chances big time.
He
Ups
could
his
win.
chances
He could
to
win.
change your guys' mind when we get the Best Actor. We'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll find
talk
out.
about
We'll
that
find
later.
out here in a moment. For a while there, everybody was championing Power of the Dog.
Yep.
And you say that's still in your top three as far as it has a chance to.
Yeah,
to
I
walk
would be
away.
surprised if it won. It's just as we've said before, the way that you vote
You
on them.
wouldn't be or would be?
I would be surprised if it won.
Okay.
I think that of the 10 on there is probably I think it's probably got the third likeliest film to win. But it would be very polarizing, and polarizing films rarely win Best Picture.
I know one actor who hated it.
That makes me so sad. I'm such a huge Sam Elliott fan, and I was so sad. And because first of all, he seems so hateful, and second of all, he seems so dumb, and I don't want to think of him as either of those things.
I don't either. But when you go, God damn it, he's wearing chaps, and you ever see him on a goddamn horse?
Yeah.
What the?
Got a pair of woolies and a leather. I mean,
And I'm taking the things that I know. It's unfortunate. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
1883 is a great show.
Yeah,
If
I've
you
never
guys
seen
don't
it,
watch,
no.
you guys don't watch television, but it's streaming on Paramount Plus, and he's great in that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I didn't read his entire quote. I don't know if there's more context to be had.
He was on a
there.
podcast. He was on
he was
Mark
on
Maron's
Maron.
podcast. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't
it
know,
sounded.
You should listen to the whole thing. It's a big diatribe against what is a Western.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
see,
and
that's-
and the idea that
In whose eyes? In Hollywood's eyes?
In his
Because
eyes.
in his eyes. What's
like,
your
he
favorite
was-
Western? I don't have one. The Searchers.
Yeah, exactly.
he's not very happy that a woman made it. He's not happy that a Western was made in a foreign language. So I'm hoping that he's understand that spaghetti Westerns were not made here either.
Right.
And he's not happy that the suggestion is that there was a cowboy who was gay. I hate to break into him. I'm sure there were a lot of gay cowboys. There are a lot of gay everything. They maybe were afraid to say it, which is literally the point of the character.
Well, he loved
Brokeback Mountain?
Yes, he loved that movie.
That's good.
But he said it was not a Western.
Just because it's cowboys doesn't make it a Western.
yeah, they'll.
So it's really
I'd
weird.
have to listen
I
because
don't
the
know.
whole. It sounds very
I
confusing.
kind of agree with you that I love Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
And while I admittedly chuckled at some of the things he says, wearing chaps never gets on a goddamn horse. I mean, that's I don't care who's playing the part or what the character is, whatever. It's just like, that's what you noticed?
right?
That's what ruined it for you?
Yeah, that seems really funny.
You're going to put on chaps, goddamn it, get on a horse. But
like
yeah,
Mark
some of the
Maron.
other things did disappoint me as well.
Yeah.
I really like.
I like Mark Maron when he started getting into it. Mark Maron's like going, oh no.
Oh no! Whoops!
Here we go.
Where's the dump button?
Again, and I think maybe it's I'm okay with this being in the top 10, but I don't. Belfast, I'm a sucker. I personally am a sucker for any period film that is through the eyes of the child. Yeah.
And that kid was great.
That kid was
really
great.
good.
I mean, I love when movies do that. Empire of the Sun, Amarcord. I mean, you foreign films, when it comes to the eyes of a kid and it's well done, and there have been so many that have been well done.
Yeah.
Once again, I thought this was a good movie, not great.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything about it when I first watched it. I didn't know it was gonna. I know what it was gonna be about, but I didn't know it was gonna be through the eyes of the kid.
Right.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was
we
solid.
thought it was
Solid.
lovely.
Yeah.
Especially
It's
coming from,
beautiful.
and for years we've joked about Kenneth Branagh being so over the top.
Branagh.
Yeah, with Branagh.
Yeah.
That's what I was waiting for.
And so his treatment really impressed me. His hand in this, and again, a more gorgeous black and white cinematography.
Oh, yeah.
Cast was great, a great ensemble.
Yeah.
You like the soundtrack.
So yeah,
Yeah,
Van
Morrison.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
George was happy about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was
And
top
it was-
to bottom.
Yeah, it was idealized, sure, through his memories, but again, getting a performance like that out of that kid that just drove the film, and
Yeah.
and another fantastic performance that wasn't nominated
Yeah,
was
Catriona
Catriona
Balfe. She
Balfe
was so good.
as his mother.
She was
astounding.
What have I seen her in before? 'Cause
Well,
She has
she
a
was
TV
just in
show.
Ford
so
versus
far
Ferrari.
versus
Yeah.
Ferrari.
Okay.
She has a TV show. It's just like a time traveling TV show, but she has one.
Okay.
It's not called Highlander because that's a Sean
Out-
Connery movie.
Out-
Outlander,
Antler?
maybe?
Outlander?
I don't know.
One of
She
those.
has a TV
It's
show.
Something Lander.
Something Lander
Something Lander.
and Landers and Landers.
Outlandish.
No, she was so good.
So good.
And
Really shocked that she wasn't nominated, but
and there was there was such a simple beauty in her too as well in that film that just she was so beautiful in such a simple way, and their relationship
Yeah.
was so just simple and honest and I want to be with you, when everything, all this shit that's going on in their world at that particular time.
Judi Dench was awesome. In that too, by the way.
Well, she's nominated
She's
because that's the
nominated?
law.
I know,
That's
I
the
know.
law. Judi Dench is in the movie.
She made a movie.
If she makes a movie, she has to.
know.
She has to
She's
be
always solid.
nominated.
Except cats.
Oh man. All right. So the only other movie left is the 3-hour Japanese with subtitles movie that I did not see, Drive My Car.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I did
It's
not see
great.
it. I did not see it.
I understand that can be a long slog for people. but it really is good. It's a fantastic bit of storytelling.
Out of all the people in this room from our podcast,
Nice.
Hansberry
Did you love
watched it.
It took me 4 nights
4
to
days.
watch it.
It took you to watch it over 4
I
nights.
got halfway through and I committed. I was like, there's
Yeah.
no way I'm turning back now.
Nice.
But I love how it goes places you don't think it's going, and who it ends up being about, because it's really a long time before you get to the actual chauffeur and find out the chauffeur has a story to tell, and the chauffeur has secrets. And everybody bears their soul and their stories of grief and moving on, and it's lovely. And
Yeah.
and also there's the power of a fine automobile.
That's right.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I was going to say, why you come over here for?
Because I like it. It actually just kept me engaged. Like, it was 3 hours and it took me forever to watch, but I was like, well, I got to find out what happens next because you just never know what was going to happen.
Yeah, because it ropes you in with the weird things that his wife is doing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's not really in it anymore. And then why wasn't he upset about the things she was doing? And everybody's got secrets. And then they're putting on this play. He's a director. And that art imitates life, imitates art. And it's a fascinating bit of just storytelling that crisscrosses each other and winds up at a just a beautiful place in the end.
Is it an original screenplay?
I-
Or based on...
I think it's adapted. Wasn't it adapted?
Because it
thought it
was
was
a
on the
unique
list.
story for
It was,
certain.
yeah.
Well, I think I don't think it has a chance at winning Best Film, but it's not going to be this year's Parasite. But it is nominated for Director, Film, and Screenplay, so it's a shoe-in to win
foreign
Best
film.
International.
Yeah.
Foreign film as
That's
well.
the thing. It's undoubtedly going to win
Yeah,
Best International Film.
All right. So, out of all these films, George and Hope concur on West Side Story.
You think so?
That would be our...
Or we could split West Side Story Coda, and then one of us will be right. I don't care which one you want to take, but it's going to be one of those two.
One of the-
I'm rooting for
Coda-
Licorice Pizza. That's my underdog.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
Hope's rooting for
I'm
Licorice
working-
Pizza.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Pizza, I would love.
I'm gonna cast my vote with West Side
to
Story.
win.
I'm going to say Coda then.
I want to say Coda too. I didn't get to say. I mean, I did like West Side Story. Did I like it as much as the original? I don't know. I think I'd almost want to watch them back to back. To be perfectly honest with you, I know that's a lot of musical. Because I know you don't like them musicals, but I'm with your husband. I kind of
I do
like
a lot,
musicals.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
but
a big year for musicals.
It was a big year.
It was, which brings us to Best Actor. All right. Speaking of musicals, Andrew Garfield, Tick Tick Boom. I watched that. I actually watched it twice because I did. Huh? Yeah, I have it. You actually had it in your hands and you put it down.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, you put it down. Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom, Benedict Cumberbatch, Power of the Dog, Javier Bardem being the Ricardos, Denzel Washington, which I got a little sneak hint as to who you might lean towards as far as Best Actor, and Will Smith, who picked up the SAG award, much to his surprise. It even looked like that he won. So who's your pick for Best Actor?
Who will win?
Who will win? Who should win?
I think
who will win.
I think right now we
Will
think
Smith,
Will Smith
yeah.
will.
You think Will Smith will?
Yeah,
will,
Yes.
the
that
SAG
will
put it
carry.
over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought
We did
he
think
had
so,
a
yeah.
good chance before, but I think
and
the SAG
it's
win.
it's not a gimme.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
He's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's good in it.
Oh, I thought you meant the SAG win doesn't automatically transfer to make it it doesn't always. The SAG winner doesn't always win
No,
the
he
Oscar,
doesn't.
but it's something in his column to think that he will win.
Yeah,
I think
there's-
he could win. I think.
That's
definitely
who you
think
think
he
will win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who do you think should win? And here we go.
I actually would give it to Cumberbatch. I would give it to Benedict Cumberbatch.
You know,
Okay.
I probably would too. As great as Denzel was.
I'm always. I never know which way you guys are going to turn. You talk
I mean,
about.
it's
you
close.
go on about the tragedy of Macbeth,
yeah.
and I think, well, part of the tragedy of Macbeth had to have something to do with Denzel Washington.
He was great. He was amazing.
It
He
did,
really
yeah.
was.
And so I thought maybe you're going to lean towards
Yeah.
Denzel.
I thought that this character, Benedict Cumberbatch, that he plays, he's a really difficult character to inhabit. He's such a strange man. He's such an odd character, and I read the book, and I remember thinking that reading the book, like, this is going to be a hard dude to play. And I just thought his performance was amazing. It was not showy. It was scary, but it was like you didn't feel like he wasn't a real person. I just thought it was an amazing performance. All four of them, which they're all nominated. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole cast is nominated.
I thought emotionally he was fantastic. I couldn't get past. I thought his accent was a little off myself, but I thought performance-wise, emotionally, I thought he was great.
Yeah,
He's fantastic.
Agreed. And like you said, that whole cast of the many great ensembles this year. That one is right up there. They're all just so fantastic, and like I said, all nominated.
Yeah.
So will win. Will Smith should win.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I think
Benedict
I mean,
Cumberbatch.
it wouldn't hurt my feelings if Denzel won. I did think
no.
it was great. The one, I think if there was a snub this year, we both would have loved to see Nicolas Cage nominated for Pig.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned
So good.
When
It's
did
so
I first
good.
hear? Was it from you guys that I heard about Pig?
We talked about it a lot.
We did, yeah. Tried to get people to see it. And I think almost everybody that we know that did see it really loved it.
Yeah.
Just not enough people.
No.
And Cage it's one of those movies, after all the weird movies that he does and weird, crazy parts, it's one of those movies that reminds you how good he can be.
Yeah.
We were talking on a podcast a while back that talking about Nicolas Cage, how he does just about any film that comes his way, but that he was going to resurface and put another Oscar-worthy performance out there before it was all said and done.
This is Oscar worthy. It just
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
get
Just didn't
remembered.
get
Yeah.
Didn't get the attention it deserved. Best Actress. Interesting group of ladies, all of them terrific. Jessica Chastain, Isa Tammy Faye.
Yeah.
Olivia Colman, Britain's Meryl Streep.
She is. So impressive.
Yeah, she is.
Kristen Stewart for Spencer. Nicole Kidman, great job as Lucy. And Penelope Cruz I can't
Parallel
pronounce-
Mothers.
Parallel Mothers.
Mothers,
Yeah.
thank you.
So 3 of those are for playing real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times is a good ticket into an Oscar. So
Right.
they've got 3 to choose from this time. But boy, you're right about Olivia Colman. She's just fantastic every time.
Yeah, she is.
I think because of that, she just won. I don't expect her to win.
Oh, really?
This time. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. She certainly would deserve it because she is great in that movie, The Lost Daughter.
Yeah,
Such
she
a
is
great
great.
movie.
I think it'll be Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it will be.
Interesting because that's a movie that a lot of people did not see. I know it's available now on cable and streaming and so forth. So, but not a lot of people saw that.
Yeah, and it
Not
came-
one of those 5 movies made money. Not one.
Yeah. And it came out, I think Tammy Faye came out fairly early.
Really early. Yeah, it
Yeah.
did. It came out in the summer.
Yeah. But it just seems like
What is it
she's got
about
the momentum.
Jessica's performance in as playing Tammy Faye? What is it about it, that performance that makes it Oscar worthy?
Well, it's her and of course the script, because unless you are a real devotee, I think it's going to teach you things and show you another side, a very sympathetic side of Tammy Faye that you didn't know or didn't feel before, and that is through her performance and the script, of course, and all the prosthetics that she wears to get that Tammy Faye look. But she's very sympathetic, and she gets you on her side with things that Tammy Faye championed that I didn't know about.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people did not know some
Yeah.
of the things that she was
Yeah, so
behind
it's good
that were
way.
actually good.
Yeah. Yeah, she seemed like a much more of an interesting, multifaceted person than
Yeah.
just the crazy makeup. And that it's not a great movie, I think. It's not a
No.
great script, but it accomplishes what it set out to do, I think.
Yeah,
And
she really elevates it. She's wonderful in it. Also, she's been nominated a couple times before, so I think that she has that going for her as
Yeah,
well. I mean,
it
Olivia
kinda
Colman
feels like-
has one, Nicole Kidman has one, Penelope Cruz has one. You know, this is the first time Kristen Stewart's ever been nominated, so I feel like she's probably got that going for her.
Yeah, and
I also
really-
think she's so good in everything, but she has a tendency to sort of always take the same role. This sort of stoic kind of badass Jessica Chastain does.
Okay.
For like the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 years, and so I thought, because I'm a big fan of hers, I thought it was nice to see her really stretch, just play somebody completely different than anybody she had played before, and I just thought she was great.
Yeah, and I was glad to see Kristen Stewart get nominated because up until the Oscar nomination, she wasn't getting remembered by anybody.
No.
And I thought, wow, that's
She got shut out. Her fellow actors did not nominate her for SAG.
SAG,
Did
no.
they? No, they did
yeah,
not.
all the earlier awards before the Oscar nominations, she was shut out. So I was sort of surprised, glad, because I
Yeah.
think she deserves it.
Yeah, me too.
She's fantastic in that part. Anybody that has not been paying attention and just thinks she's still a joke from Twilight, well, no, she's very good, especially in this movie.
Did we like Nicole Kidman as Lucy?
Yeah, we did.
I did.
Yeah,
I thought she did a good job.
I did too.
I thought they both did, actually.
they did.
I
did
think
all-
they both always do,
Yeah.
right? It's
Right.
J.K. Simmons as well. He's also nominated.
Yeah.
I mean, when is the last time any one of those 3 people turned in a less than stellar performance?
and I'm a sucker for just even a. I don't want to say there's no such thing. Is there such a thing as a bad Aaron Sorkin script? There might be. Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but I'm a sucker for Aaron Sorkin.
I am
No,
too.
George is
I
a
am
sucker
too.
for
I
Aaron Sorkin.
understand how his way can turn people off.
Right.
I do, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
What was that? What was
Yeah, a little Sorkin goes a long way for me.
that? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I dive into that for just a second?
You know,
Yeah.
hallway scenes? No hallway scenes for you?
I mean, he's just pandering to his, to a very specific group of people who want to hear what he has to say, and I don't think that there's much variety in the personality of the characters. They all have great things to say, but there's what Aaron Sorkin would say if he were that person.
Interesting.
And I mean, he's very smart. I mean, this seems like such an idiotic thing to say to be
there are
ripping
no-
apart this writer who is just world renowned. But yeah, a little Sorkin goes a long way for me. Although, I mean, I think there are tremendous strengths in everything that he brings to the table. I think that he does, especially like in this film, a great job of weaving in a lot of different perspectives
Right.
and arguments into the
He's
story.
very good at that.
He really is. But sometimes it just feels very. I mean, you always know what he wrote it. You always know this is an Aaron Sorkin movie.
Yeah. All right. I will agree with that.
And I will say, anybody that saw Being the Ricardos, seek out Lucy and Desi.
Yeah.
It's a new documentary.
Amy
just
Poehler
out.
directed it.
Amy
Netflix,
Poehler
right?
directed it.
Yeah.
Very,
Or
very.
it's on Prime. It's on Prime.
It is on
It's
Prime.
on Amazon Prime.
Really
I just saw that.
enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
really
you
enjoyed
guys
it.
like that as well?
So good.
Yeah.
Did you watch that just to watch it for enjoyment, or did you?
No,
watch
we
that
reviewed
for,
it. Yeah,
reviewed
reviewed
as
it,
well?
yeah.
Do you guys watch anything just to watch it for enjoyment?
Very rarely.
We do. Well, we just watched In the Heat of the Night the other night.
We
Which
did.
one? The
We did.
original?
Yeah.
The original.
Well, there's no. I'm talking about they made it a TV
show, yeah.
I just watched it too. Did you guys just happen to?
We pulled out the list of the
AFI.
AFI's top 100
And
movies.
I had never seen
She had
it
not
before.
seen
You
it.
never seen
I
it?
had not seen it before.
So we
What did
fired
you
it up.
think?
Oh, I thought it was great.
Did you think that?
Oh, yeah.
Could you feel it? I mean, when that movie, 1967,
Seven, I believe.
1967. Yeah, I watched it the other night on Turner Classic, and I've seen it 40 times.
The slap scene. That's
The
the one.
slap.
The slap.
The
That was
slap.
Good. I didn't know it was coming. There's so many of those scenes that you've seen 100 times in different pop culture references. The slap I'd not seen before, and I was like, "Ooh, look at that!" I was so excited.
I know,
He
right?
fought with the producers to get that slap in there.
Nice.
He fought with them.
Well,
And
it was
was
a fight
necessary.
worth
and
winning.
the
Oh my God, yeah.
relationship between him and Rod Steiger. I mean, just when you think it's like, oh, it's coming into something. Oh, no, hang on, boy. He goes back to, he goes right back to his, but and then at the end, all of it, great movie. So you did like it, yeah. Do you sometimes look at movies that were Best Pictures, because that was Best Picture for 1967, and you sometimes look at them and go,
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
West Side Story.
What else was available?
Yeah.
The West Side that year. West Side Story.
Yep.
And I hate to say this, and this might be sacrilege too. I was watching. I love The French Connection, great movie. But as I'm watching, I'm like, oh yeah, that won for Best Picture.
Yeah.
What else was available that year? Because I remember digging it at the time.
That's the thing. I think French Connection, it set so many precedents. So many films have borrowed from that movie since then that when you go back and watch it, it doesn't feel fresh and new to you. But when it came out, it
it
was
was.
all original, and so it was. It was just groundbreaking.
Interesting. In the heat of the night. What else did you guys drag out of the archives to watch recently?
Oh, wow. It's been a while since we did that.
Yeah,
when
it has.
Locke,
You should do it more often.
We
That made
should.
me,
Well,
I got
we-
very excited when you guys said that. I like that.
When
We
Locke,
We watched a TV show. That's
we
what
did.
we did.
We managed
recently.
to work in Midnight Mass,
Yeah.
which we loved.
We usually one per year. We'll watch one TV show.
was
in
over a
year.
long
If we're really
weekend,
lucky.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we saw that it was only 7 episodes,
So
so we
we
thought,
just
okay,
said-
we can do this
Yeah.
over the weekend. And
we can watch TV.
it was right up our alley.
It was.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It even passed Hope's very strict Catholicism test
Yes.
on representing
It was-
Catholicism
It
on
was
screen.
very accurate.
It's hard to pass it.
It was very accurate.
I didn't realize that you had a
It's a
standard for Catholicism in films.
I can always tell it just rings false. Almost always it just rings false. And I think to myself, the writer and/or director aren't Catholic, and so why did you make this movie Catholic? Because we saw this one. I always bitch about this one. They go to an orphanage out in this farmhouse. Anyway, the nun takes confession, and I about had to leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, we gotta go.
She
We gotta
almost
go.
came out of her chair.
Like, nope.
What?
Nun is hearing confession.
A nun was hearing confession?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
No, I thought we just gotta go. I can't even pay attention to the rest of this movie now. I'm so distracted by the idiocy of this.
Is there any Catholicism in
There is.
in Rus?
A little bit. There is. Yeah.
That,
I get it right, too.
She does. She gets it
You
right.
better. After what you just said, you better.
No, that's a confession.
Let's get to Best Supporting Actresses and Actor. Kirsten Dunst from Power of the Dog. Ariana, how do I say it? Is it DeBose?
DeBose.
DeBose from West Side Story. Jessie Buckley from Lost Daughter. Judi Dench, Belfast. Help me, Hope.
Ingenue Ellis?
Ingenue Ellis from King Richard. And is that everybody? Is that everybody?
That was 5.
That was 5. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
who wins?
Good list.
All right, I think DeBose is going to
We
win.
think Ariana DeBose is going to win.
Yeah.
They're
She was good.
She was very good.
She was
yeah.
great. She was great.
And Ingenue Ellis really, if Will Smith wins, I think she ought to share half of it because she elevates his performance
She
in
really
that movie
does.
so much.
She's
Yeah.
the one.
She's so
She's
good.
so good in that.
He
And-
made
but
note of that
Yeah.
at the SAG Awards.
Well, he
I
should.
love
I mean, the
Yeah.
girls were good too. The
They-
girls that
yeah,
played
they
Venus
really-
and Serena
yeah,
were very
they
good.
really, really
but
were.
Ingenue Ellis, really for a relatively limited amount of screen
Screen
time
time,
in that movie, not only screen time but important
Yeah,
screen time.
yeah.
She's got that kitchen scene
Oh, yeah.
where she just knocks it out of the
She
park.
does. She really
But
does.
overall, in the entire movie, her screen time is a little bit inconsequential. But boy, she makes the most of every single minute and just elevates it. So she is great. But I think Ariana DeBose has probably got the inside track.
Somebody
Yeah.
better tell Judi Dench.
I
Somebody better tell
telling
Judi
you,
Dench
man.
that she can stay home.
You can sneak in there.
Best supporting actor. We got is it Cody or is it Cody? Cody.
Cody
Smith McPhee.
Cody's in Power of the Dog. Troy. See, Kotzer from Coda. Great. You're Irish.
Yep.
Pronounce Heinz's first name.
Kieran.
Siren? Is it
Kieran?
pronounced Kieran or Siren?
Kieran.
Kieran. The grandfather in Belfast. I loved him. Bradley Cooper, Licorice Pizza, and
No, Bradley Cooper was not nominated this year.
for Best Supporting Actor.
No.
He's not.
No. I would have been fine with that.
No, he's not.
Was he nominated for SAG?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe my list crossed. Who else? Who am I? Oh, J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
Yeah.
Right. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
He's great. Love J.K. Simmons,
Yeah.
but that one was a surprise. We really were hoping that, as we said before, Mike.
Did you say Jesse Plemons?
Jesse Plemons? Yeah, from Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog.
Okay. Yes, I did not.
As we said before, we were hoping Mike Feist from West Side Story
Yeah.
would get in.
Yeah.
We also
Coleman
Domingo from Zola.
Zola.
Loved
He
if
was
if,
so
if,
great.
if he would have gotten a nod.
Yeah,
He
that would have
didn't.
been cool.
But those would have been two that we would love. But who are we thinking? I know we talked about this earlier. We're thinking
Troy
Cody
Kotzer.
Smith McPhee. Oh, Troy Kotzer.
We
yeah.
think he's going to win.
Yeah,
that
we think
one.
he's
For
going to
Coda.
win for Coda.
Yeah, for Coda. I would.
He's my pick as well.
Yeah,
He's great.
he is great.
He's awesome.
I would love to see Cody Smith McPhee. I've loved that kid since The Road, since that movie just pulled my heart out, stomped all over it, kicked it in the street. I've loved him ever since then. I loved him in everything he does. I was so happy to see him in this movie, and he was just perfect. But not only is Troy Kotzer really the fan favorite, he was just amazing.
He
Just
was good.
incredible.
And
was
there's
good.
always the thought of you've got two actors from the same film nominated in this category. Could they split
Yeah.
and end up hurting each other? I mean, they're both very good. I agree with you. I think I would go with Cody Smith McPhee. But yeah, Troy Kotzer clearly has the momentum here.
Yeah.
And I'd be really surprised if he didn't
He
win.
won at the SAGs, right?
Yep.
And at the SAG Awards. I like the grandfather in Belfast. I don't know. And once again, I'm a sucker for those types of movies
Yep.
through the eyes of the kid. And when there's a benevolent and wise and funny and just grandfather like that character.
He's great, and he's
He's
long
good
time.
in everything.
Yeah, long time character actor, I think, at this point with a long career and always elevates everything. And, of
Yeah.
course, Judi Dench,
Right.
is Judi Dench.
She was great. She was
Yeah.
good. She was good.
They were a cute couple. I loved them as a couple.
Yes, they
I
were.
did.
They're believable.
They
couple,
were.
for
Yes,
sure.
they were.
Yeah.
All right. So we give it to Cody, and now we come to
Nope.
Troy.
We give it to Troy.
Troy. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. You want Cody. You like
Yes,
Cody.
we like Cody,
We
but
do like
Troy's
Cody.
going to win.
All right. Sorry. Must be the blade in the bow.
Blame it on the blade.
Bladed on the blade. Original screenplay. All of us on this table write, and I said at the beginning of the podcast, story, story, story. So for best original screenplay, not that it's easy to write adapt a screenplay from an original source. That's hard too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe even almost harder, because what do you got to pull all the right things and make sense of it. But for the sake of original screenplays, Obstacle Corpse, original screenplay.
Yes.
Street Where We Live,
That's right.
Yes.
original screenplay.
That's right.
Well
The
done.
one I got over there that I won't even want to talk about right now, but we will. Hopefully, I will someday. That we just finished.
Nice.
Original
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That has to feel good.
It does feel good. But original screenplay. So we got Belfast, written by Kenneth Branagh. Don't Look Up, Adam McKay. King Richard, Zach Bolan. Am I saying it right? Yeah. Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson. God. Yes. and a film that I knew nothing about, but it got not worst person in the world.
Yeah,
So good.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Tell me about this movie.
This is another long one, and it's a coming of age story meets a romantic drama. It focuses on 4 years in the life of this 20-something woman as she's navigating, basically figuring out what she wants to do with her life and who she maybe wants to spend it with. And early on, she's going through these different careers. She wants to be this, wants to be that. And then she wants to be with this guy. And then, this guy turns her head. It's funny. It's sympathetic. It's relatable. The main actress, Renata Rensby, I think is her name, is fantastic. Apparently, she was going to give up acting before she got this role. And it's a movie that is just kind of sneaks up on you
It snuck up on me. I
Yeah.
never heard of it. Where was this movie? Because the way you're
It's
describing
still
it,
at Gateway. You can still see it at Gateway
Yeah.
Film Center.
the way you're describing it and talking about it, and then I see it's nominated for best original, and I go, what?
And it's a rare movie. I think I don't want to put words in Hope's mouth, but I think she would agree that one of the rare movies made by a man that is female centric, that doesn't feel like it's pandering
Right.
and trying to do something that it's not doing, because it's successful in doing it, even though it's made.
Do you
it's
concur?
Made by men.
I do concur. Yeah. We were comparing it to, I don't know if you guys remember, 8th grade?
Yeah.
The movie
Yeah.
8th grade,
Yeah.
right? Which was Bo
Bo
Burnham
Burnham.
made it, and it was so authentically the perspective of an 8th grade girl, of a gawky, uncomfortable 8th grade girl. I could not get over that a man made that movie. I was so impressed by that, and that's what this reminded us of. Like, it was just so authentic. There's no male gaze. It just seemed very. And we both thought she had a chance of getting nominated for Best Actress.
I did.
She
think
was
she
so
had a chance.
good.
But it's a great screenplay because it's insightful and funny in a organic way and sympathetic, and it's a really good movie. I don't know nobody
Is
saw.
that your pick?
So
It's not my pick.
Yeah. So does Hollywood pick for original screenplay the film that kind of makes fun of itself? Don't Look Up, or who do they go with? Who are they picking?
That wouldn't shock me. Hollywood loves honoring themselves.
Yeah, for sure. They love movies about themselves, for sure.
But Licorice Pizza.
I think Licorice Pizza has a good shot. Here's what has always seemed to me up until Green Book. Until that happened. Up until that atrocious moment. It always seemed to me that the movie that won Best Screenplay was the movie that should have won Best Picture, but they weren't going to give it Best Picture.
Right.
Was actually the Best Picture. That's how it always seemed to have panned out for me throughout my life watching the Oscars.
I would tend to agree with that.
So for that reason, I'm going to say Licorice Pizza. It's certainly the one I want to win is Licorice Pizza.
I'm on the same page with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think I would agree with that. Yeah.
I actually want to get a hold. I actually want to get a hold of some of Anderson's scripts, and I want to look at them and see. I want to read them and see
How close they are.
how close and how much
Yeah.
how they translate into what you're seeing. Because, like I said, I got what I go from what am I watching to I love what I'm watching to like
Yeah.
are they gonna hook up?
Right.
Is it gonna happen?
Yeah. Please don't, because I don't want to have to be like unhappy about that later. Can we just leave it at the? Okay, phew.
But I'm with you on Don't Look Up because it's a very polarizing movie. I'm sure
Right.
you know there are a lot of people that flat out hated it.
For sure.
And I've defended it to a lot of those people that I know. And even though I don't think it was
Depending on your politics,
Yeah.
certain people like
Right.
that movie and certain people despise
but
that movie.
it's his type of humor.
You know,
That is very specific, and if it doesn't work for you, you are just going to sit there and stew about how much you hate
a
it.
couple of our friends who are very liberal hate this movie, hate it with a fiery passion, because the idea that we're making fun of, we can find
Making
humor,
light, yeah.
making light of these particular situations, they can't get past. It's like this. It's not funny.
It's too
It's
close.
not funny that
It's
we
too
are
close.
all going.
That's
to
why
die.
I've said about this movie, people call it satire. I really don't, because it's so close.
it's very
Usually
close.
the best satire is you're dealing with one thing while talking about something else.
Right.
This is hitting it so close.
There's so many times in that movie where I'm like going, yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
it's still funny. I
Yeah.
laughed a
It's
lot.
borderline documentary, though.
Oh my
Almost.
God.
Almost.
Scary.
And I really, really, really wanted that song to be nominated.
Oh, he
for,
did.
for best original song. The song "Just Look Up." Oh, I wanted to see that performed on the show,
Yeah.
but it didn't get it. But I did enjoy the movie very much. I still don't think it is award-worthy material, but it would not shock me if it won this screenplay.
But it
would
had.
not.
This is my favorite recurring gag.
Oh.
When she just kept, and they charged us for that water. Why would he charge us for water? I laughed every time she said it. It made
She
me
was-
so happy.
Her disgust was so real,
Yeah.
and her total just not being able to comprehend why he charged for the snacks and water. It was hilarious.
Government ripping me
Just
off
hilarious.
again.
So who's winning best original screenplay? According to you two.
Let's say licorice.
yeah.
Let's say
Licorice
licorice
Pizza?
Let's say it.
We all agree on something.
Maybe it's the blade and blow talk.
Blade and blow. Hey, the blade and blow. That is not a sword and sandal movie.
show.
That's an entirely different kind of film.
I must say I think I'm liking it more than any of the others we've had.
Yeah,
I like this.
As I mentioned earlier, there were some barrels left at Stitzler Weller that they used, but they didn't have enough to put out there, so they started mixing it with some younger bourbons and put out that product. Which
Well done.
yeah, there's some hardcore people who say that the more they kept mixing and blending, the more it got away from Stitzel Weller from the actual original product. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. It's only 91 proof. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anybody. It's going to be 91 proof.
Have a double.
Nothing. The bourbon that we picked at Watershed, the Whiskey Business, that's 119 proof.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's
Yeah,
dangerous. It
it's,
tastes good and it's dangerous.
It's good. Yeah.
Because you can go down pretty quick.
Yeah.
That's our claim to fame.
You wake up face down on the street where you live, and that's
That's
what
right.
I think.
Hope's got a book out. They're making a movie based on their original screenplay. But we picked the whiskey.
These guys are hitting on all cylinders right now.
All right, so let's recap real quick before we start wrapping things up. Starting with as where we left off, best original screenplay, Licorice Pizza.
Yeah.
Yay! Paul Thomas Anderson. Best supporting actor,
Troy Kotzer.
Troy Kotzer for Coda. All right, mark these down because these kids are seldom wrong. All right, best supporting actress, Ariana. Yep.
West Side Story? Yep.
Okay, cool. Best actress,
Jessica Chastain.
Isa
Tammy
Faye.
Faye.
Best actor,
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Will
For
Smith.
King Richard?
Will, yeah. But you wouldn't be surprised if
I would be surprised. I think that might be the best lock. Will Smith. I
Will
think
Smith.
he's.
Okay.
I think he's the likeliest to win.
and the best picture of the year.
I'm gonna go with Coda.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with West Side Story.
Oh, they split.
I want Coda to win too, but I want Licorice Pizza to win even
I don't
more.
want Coda to win. I want Licorice Pizza to win. But
want
I
Licorice
don't think it
Pizza
has
to
a
win.
chance.
Well, between those two, I want Coda to win. But I want Licorice Pizza to win because that's the one I love the most.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't talk about director. You want to?
No, we did not,
did
didn't
not.
we?
We skipped
How
it.
Shame on me. How did I forget director?
What are you doing?
I don't know, man. I just, I looked at, I think what it was. I think the fact that there were 10 movies this year kind of freaked me out, and then I thought I don't want to give a shit about time. All right, director. If you're going to the West Side Story, I would imagine that you're going to go with Steven Spielberg for
It
director.
doesn't happen very often.
I know that. I know.
yeah.
We say that if it's the best picture, how come it has to be the best picture? Because you had to be the best director to make the best picture. That used to be my logic and thinking for
It's
years.
the weird way they vote on best
It
picture.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I think Jane Campion has a good shot at winning.
Power of the Dog.
And I think she ought to win. I think that it was a phenomenal feat of direction, that
Now-
film. I also think West Side Story is a phenomenal feat of direction.
Did Campion win for the piano?
No,
She
there's
did not.
only... No.
That's right. Only Catherine
Two
Bigelow
women have
and
ever... Chloe Zhao.
and Chloe Zhao. You're right. Yeah.
I had Jane Campion as winning, and maybe Paul Thomas Anderson could sneak in there and win.
No.
That's my opinion.
I would love that,
Yeah, well,
but...
I'm a
I
licorice
can't
pizza guy.
imagine.
so.
Yeah.
Who are we forgetting nominated? Did Branagh? Did Branagh get
Branagh.
nominated?
You know what? Let me look at the list.
How many directors are there?
Five.
Five. It's only-
directors.
Yeah, unfortunately,
10 movies and 5
Yeah.
directors?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
yeah. I mean,
Did
that's
they direct 2 movies?
it's our one audience member in the back.
Yeah.
It's, our buddy Chip.
Yeah, it's Kenneth Branagh. Oh, we're forgetting Drive My Car.
Yeah,
Right.
Hamaguchi.
Ryosuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, who's not going to win.
No.
He's not
Although
going
he was,
to
it was
win.
masterful.
It was.
Yeah, Campion, Branagh, Hamaguchi, Spielberg, Anderson. Yeah.
I think it's between Campion and Spielberg, and
yeah.
I think probably it'll... I mean... I think it could go to Campion. I think she's got a good shot. I think Spielberg has a good shot too, because it really is. It's an amazing feat of direction.
really,
that film
really
really
is.
is.
That was a film he said that he hated saying that's a wrap. He wanted to keep making that movie.
Wow.
He didn't want it to end. That's how much
It looked like he was having fun.
It
he
sure did.
enjoyed
Yeah.
making it.
Yeah, I'll say Spielberg is going to win.
Because, I mean, we're saying we don't think that Power of the Dog is going to win anything else. So it'll be weird if then they give the directing to
her and not, yeah.
But I'm still going to say her.
Okay. So we're splitting on that. And
Yeah, we're splitting on that too. Historic.
Is this a first? Is this a first on a? Is this the first time
Yeah, I
you
don't
guys?
think we've ever done that split on who we thought was going to win.
Wow.
I know.
How's the couch? Is the couch
Honeymoon's over, I guess.
It was a good run. You guys
was a
had
good run.
Had a really good run.
Well, we only brought one car here, so guess I'm walking.
I can't tell you. And then thank you for saying director. I don't know where my head is.
That's okay.
I told you it was a hell of a day today. But you director, we got it. We got it in there. Shame on me. I'm not perfect. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. I'm gonna punish myself. And there's nobody else in this house. But thank you, guys. Always.
thank you.
I mean,
It's
this
a
is
blast.
this is
We
this
love
is
doing
one
this.
Fun.
that we look forward to. I think we've done. Is this fourth or? I think we've done it all 5 years that we've done a podcast.
Yeah, I think the first year was just me, and then
Yeah.
we had better sense and
It was
brought you on.
Just you, and then yeah. We got smart. Bring you both on. So and,
Oh, the one year we had a guy from the theater,
from the from
one of the local theaters.
yeah theater from one of the
Raven. What's the one up north?
No, the
Marcus
Marcus Crosswitz,
Marcus
yeah. I forget his name, but that was
yeah.
one, maybe the first one.
Yeah, that was. You're right. But George has been there from the get-go.
That's right.
And Hope has been last 3. Is your third one?
3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you guys are good at what you do, and you're always entertaining to talk to on a podcast. We're going to have Hope, just to come full circle, back just for this. I love talking to her as far as film is concerned, but I'm really looking forward to digging in to you as the writer, the fiction writer, because this is going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I will have read this, and I'll have my questions, and I can't wait to talk to you about this book. Congratulations.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yeah,
So great.
I'm very
Very proud. Very proud.
you should be. You should be. It's it's not easy to write a book, a good book. That's been
Pictures.
There are not.
Here's
Just
the
the
cover,
cover.
Hansberry. There you
But
go.
can I just say one of the great? Because you're right, it's not. And I watched how she labored over it and drafts and more drafts. But when she submitted to this publisher, and it's published by Off Limits Press, and not only did they get back and say that they wanted the book, but they said don't change anything.
That in itself is
Nice.
so. Yeah, because they didn't edit it. They just gave.
There was a copy.
Copy
edit.
edit.
There was
There
a
was
copy edit,
done, yeah.
but just a copy edit. Not
Yeah, no, I didn't have to make any other changes.
Oh wow.
It's impressive.
That's high praise in
Thank
itself
you.
for that alone. And I'm just leafing through it. I mean, I know basically what the book's about, but it's interesting how those of us who write screenplays have a lot of dialogue in our fiction as well. But that's fine. You know, Elmer Leonard's one of my favorite authors of all time, and nobody, and as far as in that particular genre anyway, crime fiction writes better dialogue in a book than freaking Elmer Leonard. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing these characters come alive and picturing what they look like in my head when I read them, when I hear the voices.
Well, she
I
can
do
show
all
you
that-
pictures of
I
them
do
if
all
you
that
want.
shit. I do all that shit. All right. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We're going to wrap things up. Whitney, you got to do the business again before we go. You right? You're gonna see if how it goes now.
You can visit us at our website at whiskeybusinesspod.com.
Right.
You can listen to us on all places where you can find a podcast.
Platforms.
Platforms,
Yeah.
yes. Or
Right.
places.
There are
Places
places.
are platforms.
When you say places, it sounds like bus stations.
I know. You can watch us on YouTube at Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis.
Yep.
And it's unedited.
That's what you do. That's
what
these
I
are
do.
your cameras. You're doing
It's mostly
all this.
because I'm lazy than more than anything else.
Okay.
Okay. So, and that's it. That's where you can find us. And the Evergreen Podcast Network. You can
Yep.
find us there as well.
That's where we have our I want to thank John Whitney.
this time.
You did. You did good. And on the audio side, Greg Hansberry. You want to put up your? You want to
There
put
it is.
Hey!
You have a much smaller thumb than John Whitney. And our guests, Hope Madden, George Wolf. Toss out your information as well, where
Yes.
people can find everything if
You
they
can
want.
find us at madwolf.com. That's mad with 2 Ds. We've got 2 podcasts, The Screening Room, out every Friday, and Fright Club, our horror movie podcast, which is twice a month.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys again for everything. My name is Dino Tripodis, the guest bottle. Blade and bow. Not blade and blow, as George.
I'm going to copyright that name. Blade and Blow.
Blade and blow would be. It just sounds like a sex-driven, cocaine-riding, hard movie from the 70s, if we're talking.
Right.
Yeah. Man, did you ever see Blade and Blow? Oh, man.
At the drive-in.
My name is Dino Tripodis. Until the next bottle. See ya.